just shaving off, you know, pulling it in unevenly and shaving off just the tiniest amount of that O-ring will keep it from sealing. So you'll have to do the whole job over again. You'll get it primed and it'll just drip back out, or it'll never get primed at all.
I'm going to switch to a tool.
So just a little bit at a time, just a few turns. And you want to make sure that groove, you know, the gap between the head and the body of the pump goes together nice and evenly, top and bottom. So we're getting pretty close for the head, you know, to be all the way back in. Snug it just a little bit.
You don't really need to snug this one because you're just going to move it back over here. So what you want to do now is grab this bracket, put it in place, and take its screw and install it into the head.
So this is one of the head screws.
Might also want to put some of these in so you're sure that when you tighten that down you've got it aligned such that you can get these to go in. You don't really need to tighten them at this point, but I will anyway. Probably can't see that too well, it's pretty dark in there. Now I'm going to snug this one up down there in that corner to its final torque value.
It's about, what, about 10 or 15 pounds?
Yeah.
And just good and snug. I mean,
now I'm going to pop this one back out and move it back to its original location. And then at this point we're done with the head seal and we're going to move on to the quantity adjuster seals.
I'm going to put that shut-off solenoid back in.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I almost always forget to do that, and then I have to go put it in later with the wrench instead of my nice. This one can get torqued. This one can get torqued.
The two back ones, you can go ahead and run them in all the way.
Alright, so next step. This shut-off solenoid comes with an O-ring in the kit, but I found that it's really not necessary to change it. It never causes a problem, so I'm just going to put it right back in.
If you encounter any resistance when you're screwing it back in, the plunger may have fallen out and into some weird orientation, so you just need to make sure and back it out and check that. Just tighten it pretty good.
Okay, moving on to the quantity adjuster. Let's get it up here where we can see it. We're just going to grab the seal, same way we grab the head seal.
You got to be very, very careful here not to gouge the sealing surface, the groove.
Just stick it into the seal itself and lift out.
Hook the seal and then take it out, and it's nice and brittle, kind of hard. Sometimes it'll come out in different pieces. You just take some blue rags maybe and clean the gasket surface.
This is not returnable once opened. And you know, you want to make sure you try to put the right seal back in the right spot. So
in the Bosch seal kit, there are two rectangular seals, and you can match them up to the old seal before you put them back in there.
There's a little arrow.
And these are Viton seals also. From Bosch, they come as Viton, and so they're compatible with all fuels.
You can also see this.
There's a keyway. There's a little triangular notch on the edge of the quantity adjuster. This is the lower quantity adjuster seal that you need to match up.
As I said before, this pump was extraordinarily clean, but you're probably going to have a lot of buildup here in this area, so you just want to kind of wipe that off.
Just knock off as much as you can.
Just get this area cleaned up a little bit. Make sure you put the new seal in.
That's upside down. You match up that notch. Just make sure it's down in the groove. Might take a quick wipe on the surface on the body of the pump with the new paper towel, just to, and wipe away from the body of the pump, just to, so you're not knocking anything into the pump.
Okay, this is very important that you get this quantity adjuster rod into the control collar
you can see that
recess.
That hole down in there, and you just want to make sure, yeah, you're going down in there.
And you can see it almost all the way up until the last second, and that's pretty sure that went in. So I'm just going to get my marks lined up roughly. Grab one of my quantity adjuster bolts and grab myself a T30 to run it in with.
Just snug it down. The new gasket will hold a gap pretty well until that final tightening. You can really tell the difference between the old seals and the new seals.
Marks are really close.
You just really have to eyeball those cuts in the body of the pump and the quantity adjuster, try to get it lined up, because when you start up the engine for the first time, if you have it too far off, it can either do one of two things. It can either not want to idle at all, or it'll start up and then keep accelerating because that motor rod is holding the collar down inside the pump. It's holding it too far to the driver's side, so you're throttling up the pump. So you definitely want to have scribe marks on the body of the pump, and you can see them here, here, and here. Just want to make sure and mark them before and after, before.
Same deal with this seal. Just kind of puncture it, and then you get something to lift up and get your finger underneath. And then we'll grab the other seal out of the kit. Make sure it's properly oriented with the arrow. Just drop it down in there the same exact way. Again, this pump was really clean. You're gonna have some dirt that you need to deal with. You don't want to
push it down in the groove, and it has little ridges on it that keep it centered in the groove. Like I was saying before, this is the fuel temp sensor, and some people, replace them just because they're in there. I don't think it's necessary, but there are two little tiny